So now we're going to be talking about purchase order in our yearbooks app. To access purchase order, you can go to the sidebar and scroll down until you see the purchase order tab. Within it, we have two pages. We have the create purchase order page and the view purchase order page. In our create purchase order page, we have a form that we can fill to create a purchase order. There are a few things that are already filled like the date, the PO number, created by, and currency. You can add a vendor quotation number if you have one to your purchase order, and then you're supposed to select your to vendor. So there's two types of vendors. There's saved vendors and unsaved vendors. You might already have multiple vendors, saved or unsaved, added to your account that will be seen in these drop-downs. If you don't and want to add a new vendor, you can click here to add new company, and you will see a form pop up where you can fill out a new vendor and save it. Or you can go to the sidebar and scroll down to client and vendors, and here you will see a similar form to fill out to add a new company. So I am now going to select a random company, and then we can move down to adding items. Now I can add a service purchase order, or I can create a product purchase order. First, we're going to create a service purchase order. So I'm just going to add some test data randomly, like so. And we have one item added to our purchase order, service purchase order. You can add as many items as you want. You can delete items as well, but you need to have at least one to save your purchase order. After you're done with your upper part and your items, you can fill out some special instructions or tick on this to print on letterhead if you desire. And then you can go on to saving your purchase order. So you can either save and send email, or you can save and download. You can download in PDF form or Excel form, or you can also preview. I'm going to save and send email for now. This will redirect us to our view purchase order page. Here we can see that this is the purchase order we created, our latest purchase order, the saved vendor, from the company we selected to the amount and GST and every detail. Here I can download my purchase order. I can edit my purchase order, right? I can delete my purchase order by selecting and clicking on delete. I can also copy this purchase order and save it. This will create a copy of my purchase order with the new purchase order number. Now, let's go back to create purchase order and create a product purchase order. So I'm just going to select a company, and then here I'm going to select product purchase order. And you can see now that we have a section to select products. I already have multiple products added to this account. If you want to add a new product, you can click on this add new product, and it will pop up a form for you to fill out to add a new product. We can also go to the sidebar and scroll down to inventory and then products to add a new product to our account. So right now I'm just going to select a random product and fill out the quantity and unit cost. And again, I can add as many products as I want. I can remove them as well. Once I'm satisfied, I'm just going to go save and send email. And like so, we have created our purchase order for product items as well. Now here I can also filter out my data using purchase order number, the company name, date, amount, vendor type, and added by. This was a general flow of purchase order. There are two other features that you can enable to change the flow a little bit, and I'm going to show you them next. So we can scroll down to settings, and we can go to user preference. And here, when we scroll down, we have approval feature for our purchase order. So when we tick here, we can set a minimum amount, suppose 100, And we can set as many approvers as we want. I'm going to set one for now, but we can add them and delete them. But yes, so we can set as many approvers as we want, and we're going to save. So what this does is if you create a purchase order, service, or a product order, and it is crossing, the unit cost is crossing the amount that is set to be minimum, then we would need approvers before we can move forward with this purchase order. So here I'm just going to create a purchase order. Let's go for product, select to, and I'm going to set the unit cost to be 200. So here you see now it's saying save and send for approval. So I'm going to click that, and we will be redirected to our view page where we see that some of our things are disabled, such as now we cannot download this purchase order until it has been approved. And we can see up here another set of filters where we can filter out our data based on if we have new purchase order created that are waiting for approval, or if we have approved purchase orders, right? So here in our new purchase order, when we tap on it, we can see that this account is waiting for approval from me. So I can either approve this purchase order or I can reject it. If I reject the purchase order, I need to be able to describe why, and then this will go in a whole loop of someone who created the purchase order will edit it, and then we would wait for approvers again. I'm going to approve the purchase order for now. And as you can see, it has been approved by me, and this is our status. So now this is the approval feature. Now everything is enabled again. I can download this purchase order again. And this is how the approval features works. Another feature in our purchase order is known as the vendor catalog. So again, in our user preference, here we see this vendor catalog checkbox. When we tick it and we save, we enable another feature in our purchase order. So now when you go to the sidebar and you move down to purchase order, you see we have another vendor catalog page opened. So I'm going to show you how this changes our things. So here when we go to create a purchase order now, you can see we have two extra buttons. So instead of selecting our items or our vendors, we can use these to browse vendors and products and select them. So here we're going to go for browse vendor catalog. Here we can select a product and see how many vendors we have associated with that product. So right now, like this doesn't have it any, but like Dhaga has one vendor associated with it. So if I select them, it's going to pre-fill the vendor right here. Similarly, I can browse products based on my vendors. So as I already selected a vendor, I'm just going to go and click it, and we can see the products that are associated with that vendor. We can select it, we can add our required quantity, and here when we add items to PO, we can automatically fill out our items as we desire, right? And then we can just go and save, and a new purchase order has been created. As the approval feature is on, it is going to wait for approvers because the cost is higher than 100, and then it will go on as normal. To add or to map vendors and products, you can go to vendor catalog, and here we can see how we map products and vendors. So here we can select a product. I'm just going to go and select a random product. Let's go charger new 4, and we're going to add a vendor to it. So now we can see this big form where we can add vendors to this product. So I'm going to add this vendor and set a minimum quantity order of 100, right? I can add ranges, multiple ranges if I want. I can add remarks if I want. And then when I'm satisfied, I can save it. So now that this product is saved to this vendor, when I go to create product and I go to browse product based on vendor and I go vendor I can see that we have a new product right here that I just selected. Similarly, if I go to browse vendor catalog and I search for that product, I will see the vendor come up here. So that in general is our purchase order flow with normal flow. Then we have approval feature, and then we also have vendor catalog feature.